good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good vibes, good energy, good people. It's your boy Mickey Fenty, aka Mickey Made It. If you're new to this channel, you know what to do to this channel. Subscribe right now. Also, if you want to support my brand, it's inspiredbydreams.shop right there. And we got a lot of new drops, so you guys go check it out and support your boy. Okay, today's episode, before we get into this episode, I want everybody to know this conversation surrounds trauma. So if you have a problem with how, people's stories, it might trigger you. This might not be the one for you, but anybody that wants to have an understanding of trauma, people's different dynamics, the way they act, or treat people the way they treat people, or maybe find some healing out of the trauma that they came up in with their families, relationships, and all sorts of dynamics of it. This is the video for you guys. So yeah, man, healing energy to everybody that's dealing with, or maybe had a rough beginning and just trying to find themselves on a better path. This video is for you guys. So today we're talking about trauma, dealing with trauma in relationships, how to heal it in some ways, and just different people's stories on different situations they had to go through to make them who they are today. Let's get it.
Mickey made it. Mickey made it. What you made, Mickey?
Mickey made it.
Salute, Mickey. Grand rising to you.
Mickey made it. What's up, man? Salute.
Can I be real open and honest with you and have a transparent moment? So I was molested, some of you know. But I'm not talking about just touched the wrong way. I was molested. When you're molested, man, it strips you to the core. It stripped me of my manhood. It stripped me of my childhood. It stripped me of my confidence before I even knew how to be confident. Since I didn't deal with that trauma, since I didn't deal with that pain, it made me out to be a liar, a cheater, insecure, indecisive, lack of self-worth. I was stripped of my life to where I was living in the past as that little kid that was hurt and damaged, and I couldn't even walk into what was the purpose of my life. Some of you are so stuck on that childhood pain. You're making decisions off of the guilt and the shame of that 3-year-old, 4-year-old, 10-year-old, 12-year-old person that you were. Listen to me. Let go of the fear. Let go of the pain. Let go of the hurt. Let go of everything that was. And I need you to do yourself a favor and step into what is and go be great.
So from
Another thing too, for all my kings out there that's been through this, sometimes as a man, people, other people that don't understand your pain and your trauma, they like to belittle the things you've been through. And let me tell you, being molested or anything like that, if you ever had to deal with that, for the people that had to deal with that, just know that there's not everybody that's going to down you or belittle your trauma, and people find understanding in other people's pain instead of just just trying to just take advantage of other people's what they had to go through. I just don't like it, and I feel like you have to understand, us as men, we have feelings too, just like females, and we hurt too. So, healing energy to anybody that's been through these types of situations. Let's get it.
about 9 until I was about 11 years old, I was sexually molested by a man. Stripped me of everything. It stripped me at 9, 10, and 11, but it didn't show itself until I was well in my 30s. I'm speaking to you because I know what that trauma feels like, and I know what it does to you. And right now you're confused, you're upset, you're angry. You need people to validate you because you never validated yourself, because you were violated by somebody that took and stripped away your childhood and your confidence and your self-esteem and your self-worth and all of these things. You hide this secret from everybody and you feel judged. You have to be accepted. You need people to validate you. You need people to accept you. You need people to love you. You need people to want you. And you have this need because of this trauma. We got to handle that. You have to handle that. If you don't, you will bleed on people, not even knowing your wound is still open. I had to deal with that trauma. Do yourself a favor. Deal with the trauma of being molested so you don't take that trauma and bleed on other people.
Let me give you a better way to look at the fact that family is ultimately the first people who will cause you trauma in your life. Who better to get close to you and who closer to you than your family to show you character flaws? Who better to train you and to show you what that energy feels like? If a person is foreign to you, it is more so passive in your mind about how they're behaving. But once a person is close to you and behaves in those same manners, you are able to learn it, to study it, to develop a defense mechanism towards it. So don't be sad when you think about all of the people in your life or within your bloodline who have attributed to your hurt and your trauma within your life, but be grateful that you were able to learn the lessons there so you didn't have to learn them in the real world.
You know, sometimes I have to be the voice of reason, and I'm completely okay with that. But you all who are refusing to heal, you're the reason why you're not living the life that you want to live. Okay? If you're sensitive to criticism, if you're always defensive, if you're unreceptive, you are projecting your trauma. And the people around you are suffering as well. Many people around you, I guarantee you, they walk on eggshells. Or a lot of times people you have conversations with, if they feel like they want to say something to you, they may not end up saying it. Or if you all are having a disagreement or a debate, they may end up disengaging from that disagreement just to avoid dealing with the backlash or the lash out or whatever it is that you decide to do. And that's uncomfortable for people around you. You may think that you are totally fine, but sometimes you need to listen to the people who are closest to you. You need to listen to the things that people are saying. If you feel as though I'm losing all of these people around me, I can't keep a healthy relationship, it may be saying something about you. If you want the healthy relationships, the healthy friendships, if you want those fun social engagements, you need to heal, because that brokenness, that trauma is probably the reason why you have this skewed perception of the world and why your viewpoint is so negative. It may be the reason why you always feel as though people are attacking you. It may be the reason why you don't have good social connections. It may be the reason why you scale so low on your emotional intelligence and you're very emotionally reactive and you're allowing your emotions to dictate your behaviors. So instead of you becoming defensive when people say things to you or criticize you, especially if it's constructive, you may need to listen. There is nothing that holding on to trauma can get you but a very unhealthy way of thinking, a sad or miserable life, and a life of feeling incomplete. So you may need to take some time to actually heal, and don't say you don't have the ability, because you have resources. Just like that phone in your hand, the same phone that you're watching this TikTok on, you have the resource to go to YouTube, to find a therapist, to find a coach, to talk to people, to find support groups. You have a resource. So stop making excuses, because you're projecting that trauma onto other people. And I can tell you, it's very obvious when you're refusing to heal. Okay? I hope you have a good day, babe.
Trauma will make you look at people like, listen, I've been through hell and back. You could give me a pencil and I'm gonna look at you and say, what you want from me? What you want? Trauma is real, and you don't understand the evolution of PTSD. That is PTSD if you're unhealed. Even healed, if you're triggered, that unhealed person can come back up. That wound can come back up if you band-aided. Even with healing, you will think you've done the work and it'll come back up 10 years later. It's going to come back up. And that's for you to rework it again. It'll rework it again. You got to rework it again, because you could be with your spouse, your kingdom spouse, or somebody, you know, that you're supposed to be with. And if that relationship that did you so bad, that narcissist that did you so bad, that cheated on you your whole relationship, that will re-trigger that emotion. Because one thing is, you can't erase what has happened to you. You can reprogram it, you work through it, but what do you do? That's what I said. When you're triggered, what are you going to do? And sometimes people will throw their projections off of you because they've not done the work. They were cheated on. They're getting cheated on. And they'll throw that at you. That's why I say be careful of the conversation that you hear. If you know that you've worked through that and there's no evidence of that, go back to that relationship and say, "Oh no, you did that to me." Stay there. And then from there, go to present. Have they done that? That's how that goes. And you go back and you go back. And you think of the person that's doing that to you. Are they in a toxic relationship? That's how you do that.
The game changer is to always work through your hurt feelings. Don't suppress them. A lot of times people want to show this brave, unbothered face when it comes to things that have deeply wounded them, especially things like relationships or friendship breakups and things like that. But the real power is in accepting the fact that you feel that, working through it. I mean, actually talking yourself through it step by step. I feel hurt. I'm feeling jealous in this area because of this. I know that this contributed to that, and etc., etc. That will help you not only heal, but the next time you come across a lesson like that or an experience like that, you will have more tools in your toolbox to work through it. And I won't say more quickly, but more efficiently. Don't feed into the culture of being cold-hearted. Don't feed into the culture of being fake unbothered. Actually work through things so you can become indifferent to them. And that will work in even some of the most crazy experiences that you may go through.
I want to talk about dealing with family trauma. And I know a lot of us have experienced that with our family and our parents. And to be real, I can't even blame my parents because basically the way they treat their children is how their parents treated them. It's like they pick up habits from their parents and they take it in and they treat their kids like how they were treated. And the thing is, I don't think anyone is really aware of that. You know, it's like that affects us. That does build trauma. That does build family trauma. I feel like this generation is breaking family trauma. Like, I really do feel like that.
When you experience another heartbreak, when you experience another wound, when you experience another trauma, old traumas get re-triggered. But in my season of deficit, I was driving one day, dealing with my own grief of everything I've lost. And out of nowhere, it felt like this gut-wrenching emotion just hit me in the pit of my stomach. And I was like, where did that come from? And it was this cry out of what we call our inner child. A part of healing means I have to acknowledge that little girl. Because what got re-triggered was every belief that you had as a result of your traumatic upbringing. But now I have my inner child saying, see, this is why good things don't happen. This is why I don't get my hopes up. This is why I don't believe in good things. So I had a mental visualization of me grabbing that little girl's hand. And I took her to a hole. And together we reburied all of the old stuff I had already healed from. Rebury my disappointments of my mother. I had to go back and rebury the heartbreak that said I wasn't good enough. I had to go back and rebury every doubt, every fear, every failure. I also had to rebury the idea and the belief system that because tragedy has happened, this is all life will be for me. I cannot redefine a future when I'm still holding to beliefs that tell me that there is no future. What do you really believe?
Can we stop using mental illnesses or past trauma as an excuse to continue being a terrible person or to continue doing the terrible things that we're doing? Yeah, for example, hey, I'm always mad all the time because whatever. Hey, I lack communication skills because of whatever. Hey, I'm always cheating because of whatever. Hey, I'm always mean because of whatever. Hey, I hit you because of whatever. Hey, you know, the toxicity sets in when you realize what it is that makes you a terrible person or what it is that makes you do terrible things. And instead of working to correct it, you just use that as an excuse to continue being what you've been or continue being who you are. Stop. Take accountability, change. Alright? Alright.
Listen, man, I don't know who needs to hear this, but it is not anybody else's job to deal with your past trauma. It's not fair to the next person to have to suffer the consequences of what happened to you in the past by another person. Enough with the "that's just how I am" excuses, man. It's time to grow up. You are a human being, not an animal. It is not anybody's job to tame you. That's why it's very essential that you heal before getting into a fresh relationship. Hurt people, hurt people.
Okay, let's unpack this a little bit. I think when it comes to trauma, the first thing you want to do, the first steps in trying to heal or just trying to get past where you're in whatever level of trauma you're at, is finding understanding in what triggers your trauma. And from that point on, that's when you start start rearranging things and start, because understanding is within everything. Once you find understanding in something, then you no longer have to reflect your pain throughout, just how you're on your everyday. You can now find that understanding, tuck it in, and get back to it. Keep on working on it, tweaking it until it's not there anymore. But when it comes to people being molested and things like that at a young age in their families, or whether people outside of their families, this is another thing that people don't understand. We hear it a lot of times in as far as the girls, but when it comes down to the boys, we're supposed to be, you're supposed to man it up. No, don't belittle somebody's trauma, because you don't know what people go through, and every situation is different. So when it comes down to molestation for the boys, or dealing with that, plus trying to deal with manhood, and then you have people telling you what they would have did, and they really wouldn't have did anything, probably would have been in the same situation with the same mindset. We all take things differently. When you get up to that point of understanding and realizing that there are people out there that would look a little further past the joke, you still try to find that understanding, and then you try to carve out your journey and make best of it, and teach the youngins that's going through it or just dealing with it a better route. So yeah, man, you guys leave your comments down below if you can appreciate this conversation, and share it with a friend or two, and let people add on to the comment section, and I'll always get back to you guys. If you want to talk to me live, my morning show is as always 9 a.m. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Love you guys. Keep loving your heart, and don't go out there and be somebody you're not. Try to find an understanding in whatever you do, whether it's wrong or right. Try to correct it. All right. Until next time, it's your boy Mickey Fenty, aka Mickey Made It. If you're new to this channel, you know what to do to this channel. Subscribe,